What is going on, Chaotix? It is your boy Chaos here, and today we are gonna go over the Apex March Madness gun bracket. So you guys did like the drop bracket where I went over the locations of the drop sites in Apex and which ones are my favorite. So you can check out that video if you would like to. But today I'm going to do the gun bracket as was suggested by someone. I don't know who that was, but you know, someone wanted to see this, so it ended up being a video. It's something I kind of wanted to do too. So we had the Apex Legends gun bracket. Now I broke up the guns between automatics and single fire as just a whatever it's called. A first way to break down the weapons so I could split the bracket in half. And there is 20 guns in the game, and I will be going over all 20 of the guns, including the rare guns as well. So all the guns are going to be talked about in this video, and we split them between automatics and single fire. If you look on the Apex map, you look at the armory, it's the top, basically the top versus the bottom, with the exception in the pistols being the RE45, which technically is an automatic gun, so I put it in the automatics and also balanced out the bracket a little bit better. So let's take a look at where things landed. Now I did not pick, besides breaking them down into what they are classified as and breaking them down between automatic and single fire, I did not choose anything else. All this is randomly number generated. So this is where we're starting with. We got the Flatline, the Alternator, the R301, the Devotion, the Spitfire, the RE45, the R99, the Prowler, the Havoc, and the Hemlock in automatics. And then single fire we have the Wingman, the EVA Auto, the Peacekeeper, the Longbow, the Triple Take, the P2020, the Mozambique Mastiff, G7 Scout, and Kraber. So I am including the legendary guns just so you guys know again. It is there. And I think it's important to talk about them because they are guns in the game and they are something you want to know about while playing. So we have, again, 20 guns in this game. We have to break it down, and sadly we have to do a first 4 round to get it to a round of 16 so we have a good number that we can get through the bracket with. So we're going to start with the Flatline and the R301. Now these are 2 of my favorite guns, probably both in the top 5 of the guns I would use in a game. And you know, it's hard for me to pick between them. They're really both solid guns. I think they do the same job, both pretty accurate, both pretty powerful, both very automatic, you know, good fire rate and stuff like that. But I think I'm giving the edge to the 301. It's got a better accuracy in my opinion. It's a gun I don't typically drop, and that's really what I'm looking. That's really what it's between for me. If I get a Flatline, there's a chance I'll probably drop it throughout the game because I'll find one of the other guns I like better. But when I find an R301, I probably keep it till the end of the match. So I'm going to go with the R301 there, just because I will probably keep it over the Flatline. When we get to the R99 and the Prowler in the bottom left side, both of these are solid guns. I really like both of them. Both of them probably, again, fit in the top 5 somewhere or top 6. So very solid guns in my opinion. I really like both of them. I think they both do, again, the same job more or less. The Prowler is a little bit lackluster in my opinion due to it not being fully automatic unless you get the hops for it. But that being said, the Prowler is so customizable. I think it just has to have the edge over the R99. It is so customizable. You can do a lot of stuff with it. And really, if you get an extended clip and a full automatic gun, it's gonna put in a lot more work than the R99 ever could. So I'm giving the edge to the Prowler there. Moving over to the single fire, we got the shotguns in the first 4, which is totally coincidental because it was random number generated. But we've got the EVA 8 versus the Peacekeeper here, and you know, both very solid shotguns. I think they do a little bit of a different task. The EVA 8 is more precise. You need more accuracy with it. It's a one-shot gun. It's pretty powerful because it is a single fire. It's in one area. So it is something to look at as you're doing that. And the Peacekeeper is more of a spread gun. It has 5 shots that it shoots out at the same time. And I like how it's forgiving and also gets the hops to make it a single fire. And I think that really is what gives me the responsibility to choose the Peacekeeper here, because you can run it either way. You can run it with the power-up charger that gets it really powerful and accurate with 1 shot, or you can run it spread and it does a nice chunk of damage when you hit. So I'm gonna give it to the Peacekeeper here. I think the EVA 8 is a good gun. It's really good early game, but I gotta give the edge to the Peacekeeper. I think it's a better gun. It's good late game, not just early game. and also can do multiple things. So I think the Peacekeeper does a better job being a shotgun. Next up, we got the Mozambique and the Mastiff. Now, this is really hard for me to pick between. These are the two best guns in the game, in my opinion. Both really solid shotguns, way better than the EVA 8 and the Peacekeeper when it comes to shotguns. Of course, the Mastiff being a very rare gun, fully kitted usually when it comes. Gold stuff, you know, this thing is pretty powerful. But the Mozambique, you know, it has its own speciality. It is the most common gun in the game. It also is very underrated. A lot of people drop it early on because they're like, ooh, look at this Peacekeeper. I want this Peacekeeper that I can customize. But the Mozambique doesn't need the customization. It puts up enough output without it. It is like a good middle ground between the Peacekeeper and the EVA Auto. It's 3 shots instead of 1 or 5. It also is pretty accurate. It is a little forgiving as well. So I think it's a nice middle ground between those two guns. It's also very reliable and very common. So you're going to want to find a Mozambique. And I'm going to give the edge here to the Mastiff, because the Mozambique is the worst gun in the game. You know, I'm sorry I hyped it up so much, but you know, I thought you guys should know just how much the Mozambique sucks. It doesn't even hold a candle to the Mastiff. It is honestly the worst gun in the game. Now, if you really like the Mozambique, you can let me know in the comment section down below. We need to have a chat, because if you're using the Mozambique, you're probably not winning a match. You're probably losing every time you get into a fight. But if you can win a match with the Mozambique, and it's not your primary gun, you know, we need to have a chat, and you need to teach me how to use it. So I can really appreciate this gun. But as for now, it's my least favorite gun, the worst gun in the game, and I don't think it's even worthwhile picking up in most cases. It's 50-50. Sometimes I won't even pick up a Mozambique. I would just punch things instead. So the only reason I pick up a Mozambique is I got range if they got a weapon. So definitely the edge is given to the Mastiff. Moving along to the round of 16, we have the Alternator versus the R301. And again, the Alternator is a very solid gun. Very good game. Good game, early game with this gun. It works really well. It also benefits from extended stock, which really helps it out. It's pretty accurate. It's pretty rapid. It's a good fire rate. Pretty decently accurate. But I think it's too moderate to be a really good gun. I think the R301 is just more accurate. It might not have the best power output or anything like that, but it is more accurate. That's what you depend on. This gun has more of a range as well, and I just think the R301 just does the job better than the Alternator. So I'm going to give the edge to the R301. Again, it is one of my top 5 guns, definitely. So gotta move on. Next up, we got the light machine guns, man. The Devotion versus the Spitfire, and you're going to see a lot of the matches between the heavy and the energy ammo guns, because they pretty much do the same thing here. And you know, these guns, both rapid fire guns, probably the highest fire rate in the game, and also probably the most inaccurate guns in the game, maybe besides the Mozambique. But these guns don't really work for accurately hitting people. They more just put pressure on the guns, and I don't really care for either of them. But I give the edge to the Spitfire, and the reason I give that edge here, yes, the Devotion has more power output. Yes, you're probably more likely to knock someone with a Devotion than you are a Spitfire. If you're just randomly shooting. If somehow you're really good at controlling the Devotion, by all means, use a Devotion. But I think the Spitfire is so much easier to control. It has a similar damage output, and I think the accuracy really trumps the power here in this match. So I give the edge to the Spitfire. Moving right along, we've got the RE45 versus the Prowler, which is nice to see. And, you know, both very good guns. I think they have their own rights here. They do their own things very, very well. And so I'm very excited to see both of these guns go up against each other. But, that being said, I think out of these two guns, it's kind of hard for me to look past the power of the Prowler. The Prowler, I think, is just more accurate. Yes, it's a little less common, but again, with the customizable stuff on it, the select fire, you put select fire on this thing, it does way better than the RE45. The RE45 is one of those early game guns you get, something you want to have over a Mozambique, but something you don't really want to carry to the end of the game. So I think the Prowler has a nice end game, while as the RE45 pretty much only serves you in the beginning. So I'm going to give the edge here to the Prowler. We got our second energy versus heavy battle between the Havoc and the Hemlock. Both very solid guns, both very powerful guns too, and very reliable. if you know how to use them. I think they do the same damage output pretty much. They're both probably about the same accurate. So it really just comes down to which one does the job better. And honestly, that's the Havoc. Being a new gun in the game, it takes what the Hemlock does and improves upon it. Yes, it's a little less accurate, but it is more powerful. And the little less accuracy is not enough difference in this case to make me not want to choose it. Now, I think the Havoc is really underrated. It does take a little bit of time to kick on, but in that time you can get your nice aim down, and I think that's really important for these energy guns. They give you that slight kick at the beginning where it takes you a little bit of time to use them, but they do work. And I think the Havoc just has more damage output here by like 100 points. So if you get a guy in your sights with a Havoc, you probably can take him down. The Hemlock, you probably can knock his shield off. That's probably what you got. Moving over to the single fire side, we got the Wingman versus the Peacekeeper, two of the famed guns in this game, two of the favorites early on in the series. Wingman being the best pistol, and the Peacekeeper being the best shotgun in most people's minds. Very solid guns, both get incredible hops that make them extremely good. And you know, it's a hard choice. A pistol versus a shotgun though. And I mean, the Wingman kind of works as a pistol shotgun. It does the same thing as what a Mozambique should. It's just a lot better. But the thing I'm going to go with here, and the reason I'm going to go with the Peacekeeper for this matchup is the Wingman is somewhat unreliable. Its accuracy is complete garbage. It's one of the worst accuracy guns in the game. It ranks up there with the light machine guns. Now, if you can get a shot off with a Wingman with a skull piercer and you hit the skull, you're probably knocking someone. But if you don't, you're probably not doing that much damage, and you're probably not going to hit him. So I have to give the edge to the Peacekeeper. I think the Grace is more sufficient here. The accuracy of the gun, being able to actually hit someone, is more important than having a gun that probably can knock someone if you actually get a shot off. Because I've been in many situations where if I had a Peacekeeper, I would not have got knocked. But since I had a Wingman, I could not hit a single thing. And you know, Wingman and me have a love-hate relationship most of the time. Sometimes I'll pick it up, sometimes I won't. It just depends on how I feel that day. Next up, we got sniper rifles with the longbow and a triple take here. Another energy versus heavy ammo fight, man. Both two of my favorite sniper rifles. You know, I like all the sniper rifles. They're all really solid. I think they all work about the same. But I like the longbow. I really like the longbow. I think it's got better range. It's got better precision than the triple take does, in my opinion. I also like how it uses heavy ammo instead of energy ammo, and that's a big contributing factor to me choosing the longbow here, because you're probably not going to carry heavy ammo unless you're going to run a Havoc or a Devotion as well. So you probably don't have energy ammo just with you, and you probably only get like 60 when you pick up the gun. Although you probably don't need that much ammo for a sniper rifle. Probably a full set of 80 will be enough for you. But, you know, I like how a longbow can function alongside something like a Prowler or a Spitfire or Wingman. You can run it with another gun that is the same as it, and it works just fine. Next up, we got the P2020 and the Mastiff. Now, this is no competition. Mastiff easily takes the P2020. P2020, honestly, is probably the second worst gun in the game, not far behind the Mozambique. Really not. It's just a little bit more accurate and a little bit more powerful, in my opinion. Also, is better customizing than the Mozambique does. But it still sucks. It's probably the second worst gun in the game. And, you know, that's not a great feat to have when you're going up against a legendary gun. Now, I will say the Mastiff is really hard to find. The P2020 is everywhere, so I mean, if you wanna go for the gun you can find more commonly, you're gonna take a Mozambique, but you know, P2020 also is pretty common too, so it's there. Next up is the G7 Scout versus the Kraber, and this is really a tough battle for the G7 Scouts. The Kraber obviously wins here. Being a rare gun, being fully kitted, being very powerful, meaning you don't have to go look for your supplies to make this thing useful. It's very good to have. Of course, you have to find it in the supply bin. And the Krabers I found have been late game when it's like 1 or 2 squads left. So unless I'm going to try to third party somebody, it's not going to be very helpful. I tend not to use sniper rifles anyway. But I think the Kraber is a little bit better since it does have the power output that the G7 Scout does not have. Now I get to move on into the round of 8. Starting with the R301 and the Spitfire. Now this is pretty obvious. I don't like the light machine guns. I've talked about accuracy this entire time, and probably putting the most accurate gun versus the least accurate gun up there. You're going to take accuracy every single time. I will never keep a Spitfire over an R301 unless it is fully kitted, and I know I will never find stuff for an R301, like for the top 2 squads. Like, that might be the only time I keep a Spitfire. But I'm probably going to take an R301. It is a very solid gun, and I really like it. So, it's going to take the place there. Next up, we got the Prowler and the Havoc in the bottom side of the automatics section. Both very good guns. Havoc being probably one of the most powerful in the game as an automatic weapon. The Prowler being very customizable, very good with the select fire, the auto-ness of it. But if you want to compare these realistically, the Havoc is a little wonky when it comes to controlling. It goes a little everywhere, as most of the energy ammo guns do. And again, you know me, I like the accuracy over the power. And I do think the Prowler is very powerful if you can get your shots landed, and you probably can over Havoc. So I give the edge to the Prowler here. And, you know, it just does better than the Havoc, because you're probably going to hit your shots with the Prowler and maybe not with the Havoc. You have like a 50-50 shot with it. Moving over to the single fire, we got the Longbow and the Peacekeeper in the top side. So you got a very forgiving, close range, powerful shotgun versus a very powerful distance weapon. And, you know, this is not a tough choice for me. Peacekeeper takes it all the way. I like to play up front and personal. I do like the distance game, but I typically run an automatic weapon that can shoot from a little bit of distance to play with a Peacekeeper. So I think this gun really pairs well with other things. It could pair with a shotgun if you wanted to. I mean, the Peacekeeper could pair with a sniper if you wanted to. But I would typically run either one of these guns with an automatic weapon. And, you know, the Peacekeeper I just think is more forgiving. A great way to start off or finish off a fight. So I'm going to give the edge to the Peacekeeper here. Moving to the bottom, we got the Mastiff and the Kraber. Both legendary guns, both very difficult to find. And, you know, I've played the game since it released pretty much. And, you know, I haven't found too many Mastiffs out there. I think I've got one the entire time. I've seen one person use it. But I've seen quite a few Kraber comparison. Again, it's a shotgun versus a sniper, and you know how this is going to end up. So I'm going to just go ahead and tell you, it's the Mastiff I'm taking here. It is very powerful, despite both guns being fully kitted when you find them. Despite the Kraber probably being more found and more common than the Mastiff gets the job done. So more of a ranged of a shotgun than you probably will find. It also is very powerful and can do a lot of damage. That being said, the Kraber can do the same. It really depends here on if you want a shotgun or if you want a sniper. And, you know, I'm more of a shotgun kind of guy, so I'll take the Mastiff over the Kraber every day. Moving on, we got the round of 4, the R301 versus the Prowler. Now, these are two of my favorite guns, definitely both top 5. As you can see, they're top 4 in the bracket, but, you know, that the bracket's not my top 5. Just saying. This is not my top 5. These are not my top 4 guns. But the R301 and the Prowler, both very solid guns, both very good automatic weapons. Fully kitted, these things can put in a lot of work. The R301 is slightly more accurate, but I think the Prowler has more power output to it. If you take out the R and the L, it's a power gun. So, just going to say that. You know, I do like the power behind the Prowler. And if it were me, it comes down to which gun I'm going to pick up. If they're both fully kitted, I have the stuff for both of them, I'm going to always take the Prowler. I like the Prowler too much. And I said the only reason I would not take a Prowler is if we're late game, like top 5, top 3 squads, and I don't have the stuff for the Prowler to make it useful, and I have a fully kitted R301. So I will definitely take the 301 in that situation. But most times, 9 times out of 10, I will take the Prowler over the R301, and that's what's going to happen in the bracket too. So we'll take the Prowler here. Moving over to our shotguns, who have dominated the single fire side, we got this Peacekeeper and the Mastiff, two very common and powerful shotguns here. Peacekeeper obviously got that versatility, running the hops on it. You can get a very narrow shot that is very powerful, as a shotgun should be. But you also have the spread if you just hip fire it, so that is something else to look at. The Mastiff, also very powerful gun, fully kitted usually when it comes out. But that being said, the Peacekeeper is way more common than the Mastiff. And if you get a Mastiff, yeah, I think the Peacekeeper has the accuracy too. So I'm going to give the edge to the Peacekeeper. I do really like the Mastiff. I think it's a good gun. It's very powerful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the Peacekeeper is better. I'm just saying I like it more because I think it's more reliable than the Mastiff. Because I've never hit a shot with the Mastiff. I've only got one, but I've never hit a shot with it. Peacekeeper, at least I can do some damage with. So I will take the Peacekeeper here. And now we have the championship. Who gets it? Between the Prowler and the Peacekeeper. And honestly, guys, this is my set. This is my go-to set. Prowler, Peacekeeper, fully kitted. These are my two guns. This is my set. I love these two things. They're my favorite two guns in the game. It's very hard for me to pick. It's like picking your favorite child right now. That being said, I gotta pick one, and so let's take a look here. Again, automatic versus a single fire. Peacekeeper is very, very powerful. More reliable than the Prowler, in my opinion, when it comes to actually hitting a shot. But also, if it's not charged and you don't, if it's charged, you probably have this less accuracy than the Prowler to hit your target. Meaning, the Prowler probably can give you more damage output. And also a faster rate of fire, which the Peacekeeper is extremely slow because you have to pretty much reload every time. It's a reload animation, but it takes like a pump before you can shoot it again. The Prowler, you just go with it. It just goes. But that being said, they're both really solid guns. I like both of them, and I hate to do this to you, Peacekeeper, but I'm choosing the Prowler as my favorite weapon. I think the select fire, you put the rapid on it, the rapid fire, the full auto on it, you get it fully kitted with the extended mag. I think it takes a Peacekeeper any day. I love this set together. I think the Peacekeeper is nice for popping a target early in the fight or to get him at the end. And the Prowler is really nice to put some damage into him. So I think these two pair really well. I think they're really good guns. But I have to give the edge to the Prowler, my favorite gun in the game. And I really love my Stormtrooper white skin on it. It's just so nice. I really like it. It's so sleek, and I really like the Prowler. I think it's a really cool gun. And I've also really liked using it. So it's going to be my favorite gun. It's going to be my top gun in the gun bracket of Apex Legends. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Of course, if you guys did, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe here, Invisible Corporations. We would love to have you join up our squad and check out some more of our content. Like I said earlier, if you have not checked out my Apex videos in the past, you really should check them out. I did a video with tips on how to play if you're trying to get into the game. And I also did a video on where to drop and what my favorite drop sites were too. So if you have not checked those out, please go check those out. Very, very important that you do that. Of course, you can go subscribe to me as well. I do Pokemon content over on my channel. And this is an outlet for me to do other stuff. So I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. Also subscribe so you never miss an episode from our Invisible Corporations team. Because we really have been working hard to get you guys some nice content. Of course, Damien and Tui will be doing their WWE stuff. I'm going to continue my Sonic stuff. You might see some more Apex things later on. But as for me, that's where I'm going to wrap it up today. So thank you again for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. And make sure you let me know what your favorite gun is in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. And again, if you somehow rock a Mozambique, you got to teach me your ways. You got to teach me how to use it. Like, if it's somehow a really good gun, like, let me know. But I don't think it is. And I think the internet agrees with me that it's the worst gun in the game. But if you make it work, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to wrap it up there. So thank you again for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. And until next time, my name is Chaos, and I am signing off. Stay safe. And as always, burn it up.